Guys, give me a 5 for 5 in there if you would. We'll get rolling here. Hope everybody's doing well. Good to see everybody in there. I'll say hi real quick. I know it's a long song. Oh, by the way, on the songs, guys, sometimes they get hit with copyright to where they're blocked. Some songs you can't play at all, no matter if you're monetizing or not. That's what happened yesterday during my video. So if you guys went back and watched the replay, the song's not there. The intro's not there. I had to clip it out. If you guys ever see that happening, do me a favor. Go back to the video and give it a view for 4 or 5 minutes and drop a comment, because what that'll do is it'll put some more views on it real quick, so it'll get past the algorithm. So I hope you guys like that song. Obviously, yeah, it's kind of an emotional one, but is what it is, you know. It's a good one. Good one from 85, I believe. If you guys don't know the trivia behind that, that's actually the Genesis guitarist started Mike and the Mechanics. And they just became huge. So, much like Phil Collins, when he left Genesis, well, Peter Cetera from Chicago, he was Genesis also. So, so yeah, I try to put that music in there, guys, because I know everybody enjoys it. It lets people get in here and lets people do their thing, right? Makes it a little bit more enjoyable. Hopefully, we'll get through this without any thunderstorm interaction going on around my area, so we're just going to keep moving with that. Thanks for all the prayers for Tommy, and you know, with him going through the CV19er. That's what I call it. Breaker CV19er. Oh, Rip just did a video too. Rip, good video, by the way. You guys need to go over and check out Rip's video. It's eye-opening and very informative. So I would encourage all you guys. Rip, drop your link in there, man. Even to that video, that particular video, people will love that. I think that's it's about CV19er. You guys go over and check it out. It's really interesting. The opening scene is enough, almost, just to make you be like, what? But good job on that video, Rip. Anyway, so we're just going to jump into this. We've got, if Rip still ain't here, somebody please drop Rip's link in there if they would, one of my mods. By the way, mods, thank you so much for all you do. You guys got one of the toughest jobs on the planet, on the internet here. You know, I don't support an echo chamber, and that makes it really, really hard on my moderators. You know, because it's not a cut and dry, should I, you know, block that comment or not. It gets kind of hard to know which comments to block sometimes. You know, I just lean back. If it's not a personal attack, just let it go. You know, people can have their own discussions or what have you. I don't censor that kind of stuff out. I just don't want vulgarity or people doing personal attacks, calling names, those kinds of things. You know, as far as talking about ideas and stuff, that's cool. But it's really hard for my moderators. For people that aren't moderators, they're my, you know, loyal viewers and stuff. You guys see it. It's hard for them guys. It is, because of the way I do this. You go to another channel where they're just supporting one side of the argument, it's easy for those moderators just to knock them comments out of there. That's what they want, right? Hey, Susan, what's up? Hey, Tommy, what's up? But yeah, guys, AIG. But yeah, guys, please go over and check out the lifeboat. Go check out Rip's last video. It's eye-opening, guys. It really is. Just the opening scene. Just the deception we see is just ridiculous. I don't know. I know why, but I can't understand the purpose. I mean, I know the purpose too. It's just not right, you know. But anyway, yeah, Tommy's fighting the CV19er. So if anybody wants to hit him up on the CB with a prayer, I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So yeah, he was struggling a little bit with breathing today, and yeah, that's kind of a typical thing with this. But anyway, let's get to the space weather real quick, and we'll talk afterwards. Anyway, we got nothing going on with the Schumann, so I'm not even going to waste any time on that. Space weather here with the X-ray, nothing going on there really either. These are flares. When you get a spike in X-ray, that's what that's representing. Basically, it's a flare. It's an increased output of X-ray from the sun which is generated from a solar flare. Okay, so that's what you see when you see the spikes here. Looks like really low level, maybe a C1 or something there. I'm not really sure, but regardless, it wasn't much there. This, what you're seeing here, is this, the same dropout. Okay, that's what that is. It wasn't able to communicate data back and forth because of what I talked about yesterday. The Earth goes in front of the satellite. Well, the position of it, the Earth becomes in front of the satellite, between the satellite and the sun. So that's why that drops out like that, and that will eventually go away. It's a season, so that's what we're dealing with, right? Now, as far as proton flux, when we're talking about radiation storms, this is usually what we look at, right? And you guys have watched me long enough. Anybody that's been here for a minute knows that we don't see that very often. Those will increase. That's why they have storm levels over here, and they can cause a little bit of issue. We'll get into that later when it does happen. But as far as geomagnetic activity, we're running kind of par for the course right now. We had some up and downs on our magnetic field yesterday. Some pretty interesting. What was happening was, and I'll just show this to you real quick. If we go over here to the Discover data, the hits that we were taking on just about any other condition probably would had a good chance of maybe even putting us up into geomagnetic storm levels. And the reason it didn't was because of this BZ. Okay, that's the angle, right, that we talk about. When it's pointed south, the further south it's pointed, the easier this stuff comes in. It makes a better connection, right? So when it's north, that means it's not a good angle for it. So that's why we look for -6 or bigger. It's a big deal. This is one of the main components and main thing that we look at to see, why did we get a geomagnetic storm? This is one of the first things I look at, and we always, we always look at the density, right? Density and the wind speed, because those are the other two that we always go to. But in my opinion, we've gotten really low density and low wind speed. But when this goes to -6 or bigger, that's when we get the hits. Even when this stuff is low down here. So take that for what it's worth. Now the phi angle. Remember the solar wind gets here from a magnetic connection line between us and the sun, which is what they call an interplanetary magnetic field line, IMF line. What's coming at us from the sun, other than X-rays and stuff like that? We're talking plasma, which is charged gas. So it has a polarity, negative, positive. So this is the polarity of that. That's what the phi angle is. So that does flip often. It flipped twice right there. 3 times, if you want to count that one. Okay? But sometimes when we take a really sharp, polarity reverse, it can jerk us into a geomagnetic storm. So that's happened before too. And when that happens at the same time as we're getting other solar weather or space weather, it all adds up to a big old ball of, we've got some stuff happening. So we'll scroll on down through here. Not really much to see here right now, guys. And I know my thumbnail was talking about the object that hit Jupiter. We'll talk about that in just a second. Very, very interesting stuff. And again, I have to give credit where credit's due, and that's Spaceweather.com. What he reported there, it's a really short article, and I'll take you guys to it here in a minute. But yeah, it's right on point, straight to it, and I've not heard anybody else talk about it. It's kind of crazy. Maybe I just missed it, but hey, holding it down in the Bronx, baby. Angelo. Watch out, man. You got to watch out for Angelo in there, guys. He'll make you go swim with the fishes. Put them concrete boots on you. You better run. Just kidding. He might end up with some blue paint off that blue wrench, but I'm sure he wouldn't go any further than that. What's up, AV? Hey, Tab. Anyway, so this is the absorption, the D region absorption prediction, right? This is what we look at for flares, and so when we get down here to the end, you see a little bit of a blip. That's all that was, okay? So when you see this little purple here, Very, very small increase there. Okay? That's what this was. That little beep. Okay? So, I mean, that's just, I'm just trying to put it into perspective for you guys. Now, we did have that filament blow off the sun. The plasma and stuff was coming at us. And, you know, they're now talking it might be a glancing blow, or it could, you know, it's going to be a hard thing because there were a lot of things happening at once. And the trajectory of it's going to be hard to really pinpoint down because there were so many other things going on at the same time. So, this is going to be one of those things I'm not even going to come out here and say anything unless it hits. Okay? I'm not even going to bring it up. I might just, I might bring it up and say, hey, we just had that. We're still keeping an eye on it and keep moving. But that's as far as I'm going to go with it. Because the last few times that we've had stuff coming at us just really didn't amount to nothing. So I just don't want to keep doing that. And people will be like, well, who cares? You know, that kind of thing. The crying wolf thing where I'm not even doing that. But just the fact that the prediction was off kind of makes it feel that way. But anyway, the 17th here, that's what they're talking about. That 4 on the KP. Now remember, a 4 isn't even geomagnetic storm level 1. Okay, you see the numbers here. 5 to 1 here, right? KP number 5 directly corresponds with geomagnetic storm level 1, right? So, obviously they're not predicting any further out here, at least on this one. You know, anytime they predict a 4, you can expect between a 3 and a 5, sometimes even a 2 and a 6. Just depends on what's going on. Remember, a whole lot of things have to come into play here for us to really take a good size smacking. Now, this is a LASCO C3. This is the same thing I show you guys over on Seeds. It's just a zoomed out version. LASCO C2 is what I usually show you. And I'm showing you this zoomed out version because of this. You're able to see 1, 2, and then there'll be a third eruption right here. See that? Now, this big one here is actually going off the backside, and I will show that to you here in just a few minutes. Something else of note, look. Sunspots are gone. Okay, they rotated off. You still kind of see the faint one over here on the limb. Now remember, that would be called the west limb of the sun. And I'm not going to go into why, because it really just doesn't matter. They call it the west limb, and they just never changed it. Okay? Way back in the day. So when you're looking at the sun and talking about this, this would be the east limb of the sun. It's reverse of what we would think of if we looked at a map. Now north and south is the same. Just east and west it's been flipped. So just so you understand that. So when somebody says east limb of the sun, they're actually talking about the left side from our perspective. So kind of keep that in mind. Most of you guys already know that. And I know that. I want to reiterate for people that, are just learning. Now, remember, you guys can see the graph here, the key. The darker ones are, the darker colors are the more dense up here, and then the faster down here, right? So as we get moving here, we're about right here in time as far as UTC. To the yellow line. So that's 2 days historic. This is what happened right here. They know what happened here, so they put that there for us to see. So, let's see here. What you got there, Mandarin? If the solar flares or CMEs comes off of the sun and not directed towards Earth and would be directed towards other planets, would that interfere with our Earth in the long run, our solar system? It could. It would, the stuff that gets blown off in other directions, we got to remember, and I talked about this very, very briefly. What you're seeing here is basically, I'm not going to go into detail, but it's basically a Parker spiral. If you guys want to know what that is, please go look that word up. I can go into it at a later time. But like this thing here is getting fired off kind of that direction, you see? Now, these are not CMEs. This is just energy that's coming off the sun. Right? So, why is it spiraling? Well, it's because of that Parker spiral. So what I'm saying is, even though that stuff blows off on this side, sometimes it can reach around and affect us. But as far as like if it blows off completely off the backside, yes, some of that, the effect is very, very small. So that's why most people don't even talk about it, because that's the truth. It really just doesn't affect us a whole lot. But anyway, as you can see, you had a little bit of an eruption here too. Remember that one there? Now watch this one catch up with it. See that? This is why this is hard to forecast. When all that's happening at once, okay, that's when it gets hard to forecast. And also, we got to keep in mind that you get what's called an interplanetary shock wave. If this catches up, now remember the atoms that we're talking about here, they have their own magnetic fields. Each atom has its own magnetic field, right? That's a fact, right? So we commonly think that these things crash into each other. That's not true. Typically what happens is they get close to one another. This one's moving faster, so it catches up. And when it starts interacting, the atoms start interacting, they cause it interplanetary magnetic shock wave. It's a small, minute thing most of the time, okay? But it's a little extra burst of bam. And what's happening is the atoms are actually pushing against each other, okay? Because you got negative polarities. They're not actually crashing into one another. Now, there are a few that do during all that, but the majority of it, they're repelling each other. Get two magnets out, we all know how that works, right? You put positive against positive, and it pushes against each other. You got to have reverse polarity to get it to attract. So, yeah. Most of that gets pushed, and that's what causes that. So, what do we look for? Well, when it happens right at our planet, that's when it can affect us. See that? And this is 4 or 5 days out here in advance, 3 days. I don't necessarily trust this thing all the way out that far. I'm not saying it's not right, because it could be. But the chances of it being correct, when they start showing it to me here, is when I'm really going to be like, yeah, it's going to happen. Okay? Until another day or so, I'm not going to say, hey, this is happening. It's just not, it's not responsible, really, at the end of the day. And I appreciate the effort here. It's got to be really hard to forecast this stuff. I mean, it really does. And one thing I will say here to credit what they're doing is the fact that when they do see that this model is incorrect, they change it. Okay? So if they see that, hey, this was wrong, they will change it so people don't come back to it and think that everything's staying on the same. So that is one thing we got going for us there. They're not waiting. If it changes, they'll tell us, hey. And again, I explain it like this. Local weather on your 8s on the Weather Channel. How often do you look at the Weather Channel, come back two hours later, and you look at it, and it's completely different? Very similar stuff. We wouldn't want them to leave that same report there 2 hours before, knowing that it was wrong. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say it like this is because you get people out there, and they start slamming them. Oh, they changed it. Must be nefarious. No, they're changing it for the opposite reason. Because they don't want it to be wrong. So, that's, yeah. So I'm just going to keep moving. Anyway. Here is our magnetosphere. We will run these models real quick. That's your wind speed, solar wind speed. And again, remember how this is moving. It's magnetics, plasma traveling on that connection line. It's not like wind blowing. They call it solar wind because wind lends itself to weather, right? So they had to have a way to explain space weather, and that's what they chose. It's just the wording. So anyway, because we know here on our planet, air moving from low to high pressures and back and forth and all that, that's what causes our wind to move here. And we feel it because it actually has mass. So when that hits you, you know what I'm saying? When that wind hits you, people don't think about that either. That's actual mass hitting your face. It's friction. You're feeling it. And most of this just kind of brush it off because it's not hitting you hard. Or even if it is, it just blows right by you, right? Well, that's kind of what you're seeing here. And that's why they use these words. Okay? So I get that question quite often. Why do they call it that if it's really not what's happening? Well, it is actually what's happening. It's just happening in a different environment. So that's why I explain it like that. So anyway, you got that going there. Hey, Ricky, what's up? Arizona, in case I didn't say hi to you. Matthew, Fear No Evil, Gypsy Minion. I haven't noticed I'm a little bit more focused tonight because I haven't been looking at the chat. Yeah, I get a little squirrely sometimes. So, yeah. So we'll let this load up. Now, this is magnetic pressure. This is, if I had to point to one tool that would kind of, because I got asked, could this space weather affect the volcano stuff going on in the Canary Islands? Well, I would have to say, I think it probably can. Is there science to back that? Probably. But there is nothing that's been definitively pinpointed down because there are so many other elements involved. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what's doing that. There's a lot of things in play. So that's what I'm saying. And I guess what I'm saying is at the end of the day, space weather would have to come at the end. The other stuff is probably going to affect it a lot more than what space weather does. And until they get that perfected, I think they're just now starting to really look into how space weather affects seismic activity, earthquakes, volcanoes, magma movement, all that stuff, right? Geysers, any of that kind of stuff. So, as we move forward here, you can see the magnetic pressure here around our planet. It's not really all that great. This is actually kind of normal. This doesn't look bad at all, really. Again, I was doing things here with, I don't know why this stupid thing's doing this like this. Give me a second, guys. Sorry. I need to get seeds up here for you guys. I want to show you guys the seeds model. What the heck is taking it so long? Okay, here we go. So this is today. Now remember, it's a satellite that sits right out in front of our planet, right? This is SOHO. SDO is the one I show you in my intro, and that's sitting out in front of our planet too. It's just closer to us. It's not exactly in the same kind of orbit around the sun. It's actually in a figure 8 pattern over the same area of Earth. That's how SDO orbits. They do that for a specific reason, which I'm not going to get into right now. But this is from SOHO. All right, this version here is that zoomed in version of this. Okay, these two are the same. They're from the same exact position. They're from the same satellite. Okay, they call them observatories, and there's tools on the observatories. And those are these different cameras and these different data collectors, right? So that's what you're seeing here. Now this right here is that bigger one I was showing you guys. So how do we know? Again, I'll go over here to stereo A because this is a partial sideways view of the sun. So we can see it right there blowing off, and we know the Earth is over here, right? So this thing is not coming at us at all. So that's how you know. Now I will say this, you can see that right there. That is a pretty substantial ejection. I'm not going to call it something huge or anything like that. It's not a baby and it's not a monster. Okay, that's what I would say there. So anyway, that's what's happening there. But yeah, so with that going off the backside, we don't have to worry about any of that. You can kind of see a little bit of another ejection here going on. We could have some activity coming off the front side. Who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see. And that'll come. And if it does happen, then we'll talk about that when it does. Okay, so the Jupiter thing. Check this out. Well, we'll talk about this first real quick. You got, on the 13th, we had that filament bust off, right? So they're talking exactly what I was just saying here. The modeling at NOAA is saying, on the 16th or 17th. One thing I can show you again here real quick. Let me do this for you guys real quick because I showed you the NOAA model. Well, let me show you the NASA model. Okay, it looks very similar, right? But it's different. Why? Because their modeling parameters are set up different. They're getting the same data. It's just they take certain things in that are of more importance to them and how they're forecasting and how they work their model at NASA than what they're doing over here at Spaceweather, and they're doing the same thing. They just think that other things are would point to a more accurate forecast. So that's why the models differ. Okay. Now, when you look at these models and they agree with each other, just like a hurricane model, those spaghetti lines we see all the time, there's 1,000 of different models out there, and when they all start lining up into the same general vicinity, we know that that's where that hurricane's going. So when the models start agreeing with each other, then we can be pretty confident that that's going to be what it is. So now I know you guys probably can't even see this, right? They don't update this one at NASA unless there is an ejection. Where I seen it, because I had trouble myself looking and seeing what the heck is this thing even trying to show? Why did it update with nothing when there's nothing showing? Well, check this out. And again, I seen it right here. Watch the little blip right here. Where my cursor is. See that? That little itty bitty thing. I can't believe they even. It blows my mind. Because sometimes we'll have these big ones blow off and they won't update it. And then we get this little one here that is almost like not even worth wasting your time on. And they show this one. It's laughable, really. I don't know why they did it like that. It just, if you're wondering, this is the top down version on the left side cut here in the middle. This is our orbital line. You see our orbital line around the sun? They stretch it out in a straight line, so we have 3 different axes here we can look at, and it gives us a really good idea of, because you got to have distance, you got to have the correct angle that you're looking at here. Basically, I'm not going to go into deep explanation on that, but that's why they show you 3 different cuts. Okay, if anybody's ever had an MRI or a CAT scan or anything like that, I'm sure everybody's seen the pictures of those. That's what they're doing. They're giving you different angle cuts when they're showing you those different imaging and what you're doing when you get a CAT scan or an MRI. So, as long as you know the perspective they're trying to show you, you can really get a good idea of the direction it's going. So, anyway. Now, back here to the Jupiter thing. Now, first and foremost, like I said, I'm giving credit here, man, because this is awesome. Spaceweather.com, I mean, they knocked out a ballpark with stuff like this. I've not seen this anywhere else. I don't know if anybody else is picking up on this or not. I even Googled it. Didn't see anything. Because there was, they talk about remember the Schumacher Levy 9 comet that blasted into Jupiter a while back? When did that happen? I think it's in here. Oh, goodness. It's been years ago. Can't remember when that exactly. July 1994. Now I realize that some of you guys in here might be a little bit, might not remember that. Okay, I get it. You probably might be young. But yeah, this if you read this article, the astronomer over in Germany, Harold Pileski, he was watching the shadow of Lo create a Lo is a moon, I believe. Right here. This is a moon of Jupiter. Okay, he was watching this shadow here. Basically, it's an eclipse. Okay, it says in the atmosphere of Jupiter when something unexpected happened, a bright flash of light surprised him. So it could only be an impact. Now, what happens after this is he did his due diligence and did what he was supposed to and ruled out like a plane or something flying across the screen here. Okay, in front of him. So he talks about that here. Said it first appeared, Okay, I'm not going to go into all that, but he did say it was about 100 meters in size. Now, when we're talking about Jupiter, that's not a big deal. Okay, as far as if it's going to affect Jupiter in a huge way, right? Because it probably won't. Even when Schumacher Levy 9 blasted in there, that comet, it didn't do a whole lot to the planet, okay? But if we come down here to near-Earth objects, now remember, guys, Jupiter is one of the main reasons we don't get a whole lot of asteroids hitting us, okay? It really cleans those gas giants out there. in our outer solar system are protecting us. They're sucking in a lot of that debris. Okay? So if we come down here to the near Earth object reports, and we're just going to go over here to the diameters. Do you guys see anything at all on here, even close to 100? Well, there's a 90, there's a 177. Okay? We do see them. And there's a 135 and a 123. But what I'm saying is, this was a large object. Okay? If this was coming even halfway near Earth at all, this would have been a big deal. People talking about it. Not that it would have hit us, because chances are it wouldn't. So, it just is what it is. But, yeah, so, I mean, we got the 0.8 lunar distance here. That is back on the 11th. Now, if you notice, I showed you guys this yesterday, right? They've added quite a few here. So, somebody had picked these up after it passed Earth. Okay, that's what happens. So, and I have to stress, go look at the ones they added back in. They're all small. Almost every one of them are less than 10 meters in diameter. All right? So, now if you start talking about a 100 meter diameter rock going to hit you. Now, see, I'm calling it a rock, but I don't know if they know exactly what it was. It could have been a small comet or whatever. But this is awesome. I mean, here, I'll just click on this and see where it takes us here. So, yeah, check that out. All right, so it impacted, it's probably that, right? And it only flashed for like 2 seconds, it said in the article. Hey, Randy, what's up? Yeah, that's right, Tommy. Tell him. Pound that like button. Just kidding. Love it. Love it. So, yeah, I mean, he was here filming this. Okay? So, yeah. So when you're doing this and then this happens, you gotta be like, what? So just awesome job. I mean, no way around it, man. I mean, just so cool. Cool stuff. I know I'm nerding out a little bit, but that's alright. I'm allowed. But, so Harold Pileski, if you ever see me saying this, which chances are you won't, but I just want to give you some props there, man. That's just so awesome. I can't even tell you how awesome I think that is. You know, just the fact that you were looking at something else and were able to see that, and it was only in frame for 2 seconds. Pretty impressive. Just saying, guys. Show again. What you want to see, Cheryl? You want to see this again? Right here? Yeah. So, if that's what you're wanting to see, sorry. But yeah, so I mean, there you go. I just think it's really cool. And that's why I put it in my thumbnail. That's why I put it in a whole lot. Binary numbers. There you go, Muskrat. Hey, them binary numbers give me freaking nightmares, man. I was part of one of the first computer programming classes of my high school back in the early 90s. We had little Mac computers. We were making like little pool, like the game Pool. You couldn't play it. You just had to have it hit the balls, and balls had to go into pockets and stuff. But we had to use binary numbers back then. Adding and subtracting binary numbers are not fun. You start doing times and division with those kinds of numbers, my gosh, it's a nightmare. A nightmare. I'm so glad they got away from that. Well, they still do it, but the computers do it for them now. So, but we had to do that ourselves. You know, yeah, binary, fear no evil, is ones and zeros. That's all they use. Ones and zeros, and they all mean, you know, certain values. So, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know, guys. What do you guys think about that? Let me see what's the timestamp here. What we got? 40 minutes. Okay. I'll guys, for anybody listening to me that's been here for a minute, probably already knows this, but I'm starting to include in my description, I'm going to put where the space weather report is. So if you watch it on replay, you know exactly where to go. So, hey Bob Dobbs, what's up? Dolores, what's happening? Joanne, Gypsy, what's happening? I don't know. What do you guys think about that Jupiter thing? You guys think that's pretty cool or not? I'm almost saying not, but I just think it's amazing when you're out here looking at something else and then you just catch something like this. It's just so cool. You know, not to mention the distance that they're actually doing that at. And he's here on the ground, guys. He's not, this isn't from any kind of satellite or nothing like that. This is coming straight from the ground. Hey, you're upside down, huh, Bob? But yeah, so again, guys, well, if you guys got any questions, you can go ahead and fire them at me. Goodness. So, you like that WZN? Yeah, I think it's pretty cool too. I really do. I think it's, yeah. And I can't say enough good stuff about Spaceweather.com over here, guys. I really can't. You'll notice that a lot of the Space Weather channels are not even just Space Weather channels, but people just reporting on things are using this site quite often now. And I want to make sure that you guys know where this is coming from, because these guys need some love over here. They deserve it. You know, so if you guys can give us some traffic, and if I can, you know, facilitate that at all, I'm going to do it. You know, I get kind of hammered sometimes for trying to push people in a certain direction, and I'm only going to push you guys towards positive stuff. So just know that. I will never push you over to somebody that's slamming other people or slamming this and slamming that. It's just not going to happen. I won't do it. I don't think it's constructive. I don't think it helps. And if somebody's defending themselves, that's I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about an overall negative. I get it. People getting fights on the internet and stuff like that. That doesn't concern me. I'll still let say, hey guys, go over and check out their info. It's not that. What I'm talking about is just an overall influx of just constant negativity. I'm not going to send you guys and anybody like that. It just won't happen. Good to see you in here. I hope you kind of felt like you're feeling a little bit better, Tommy. I hope you are, man. That just sucks. I hated to hear you. Yeah, Randy, Jupiter gone wild. I think what happens though, guys, is, let me say this too. Just as much as we miss stuff here, could you imagine how much stuff gets missed out here? And I'm sure that Jupiter has a lot of eyes on it a lot of the time. I mean, it's a big deal. So, did Mark Pires start up his stream? Cool. Yeah, guys, go check him out. Here, we'll do this real quick. Let's go over here to, I'll just bring up his channel real quick, and we'll throw the link in there. Oh, he's right here. Yeah, guys, Norm Macdonald passed away today. You guys hear about that? That's horrible. Norm Macdonald passed away. That dude ain't old enough to be going nowhere. Oh, that's Mark's chat. I about put it in Mark's chat. You guys like that? Here, let me drop it in there and see what they say. Oh, goodness. But you see what he's doing here? He's doing face swaps. He's hysterical. Just so you know. But yeah. So anyway, go check him out. He's live right now. I'll probably go over there after my show and hang out in the chat. You guys should go over there. We haven't given him a love bomb in a while. If you guys want to give him a love bomb, I would much appreciate it, and I'm sure he would too. I really do. I think he would appreciate that, guys. So, yeah, maybe we can do that tonight. I haven't did that in a minute. Let's, I do want to show you Tommy's channel real quick. The Lifeboat. And there's a reason why that's 3 words and not just 2. Lifeboat's 1 word. Keep that in mind, guys. It means something totally different. So, anyway, I'll put his link here. So, yeah, guys, go check out Tommy, too, guys. I mean, he's sick, too. I mean, he's still... Look at it. I mean, I can't imagine, Tommy, what you're feeling like, man. I mean, I've been through some stuff myself, but, you know, I don't really know what that kind of a feels like. So, but yeah. So, guys, you know what? Let's go give Mark a love bomb. All right? You guys want to follow me over there for a minute? At least for a little while. Hang out. Hey, Axe, what's up? Drop your link in there if you want to, too, buddy. You guys know that's all cool. And Rip did an awesome video, guys. Go check it out, please. Rip Curl Readiness is his channel. He dropped his link a little bit earlier, so he's in my description anyway. But so yeah, guys, I am going to go ahead and cut it off here. I think. Thanks for stopping in. Let's one more thing before I get off of here. Let's just go to go back over here real quick. I'm going to try to start doing some shows a little bit more consistent, just so you guys know. And I get it. When somebody looks at something and it's got 47 minutes on it, sometimes they keep moving. You know, I appreciate when you guys see this down here, those of you guys that are still here. What this is the number of concurrent viewers. All right, so I was able to hold pretty much the same amount all the way through my stream tonight, which is good. That means people liked what I was saying, typically. At least they thought it was interesting. But that's what this is. And, you know, when I'm cruising YouTube and I see a video that's 45 minutes or longer or something like that, sometimes I don't stop either. I get it. I want to be able to get to as many people as I can, and it's not for any other reason than I just want to share my stuff. That's it. You guys know that. You know, I don't monetize my channel. I got a PayPal link in the description, but I don't even promote it. It was such a blessing last year when you guys helped me out. You know, it was awesome. So, you know, anybody that helped me out back, I didn't even ask for it. You guys just did it. It's just, yeah, amazing stuff. But yeah, so, you know, there's sometimes I come up, we'll do a live stream, and a lot of it depends on what time I'm on too. You know, right now it's kind of at the end of the peak time. If I was to show you my channel analytics, you can see peak times of when the people that watch you are on the internet, on YouTube. And I'm outside of that right now. So that's, you know, sometimes that affects the view count. And that's sometimes when I play that music, guys, I have to go back and trim that off. And that kills that first hour. That first hour of views is critical to beat the algorithm. If you can get your video to 1,000 views in the first hour, it boosts your video so much more than what just about any other point in the algorithm does. That's like a key point. And if you can get more than that, like 5,000 or something for the bigger channels, you know, that really starts boosting their channel out there. And I'm going to start trying to probably, I don't know, BIGO, I think is what they call it. I set up an account. I'm going to set up an account from Mark Pires link sent me. I'm going to set up an account over there. It might help get some people over here. I'm probably going to start doing more of the 1-minute TikTok videos like I was there for a minute. That was just a test. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. Some people liked it. I ended up with like 300 or 400, you know, followers over there, getting a couple hundred views of video, that kind of thing, which is cool. But I'm going to continue to try to increase those kinds of things. But if you ever come to a video and it says it's blocked, it's probably most likely the music on the top. And if you see that, please drop me a comment in the previous video, because I might not know it's even happened. That way I'll go look. And then I can fix it as quick as I can. Hey, Keith, what's up, bud? But yeah, guys, so I'm going to hop over to Mark's channel for a few minutes and go check out everybody over there to see what's up. All right, guys? Hope to see you guys over there. Check out everybody that I was saying. I hope you guys do. And God bless. Yahusha saves. And you can drink